Welcome to a new episode of Real Business Roundtable. Today we're going to provide you with substance and knowledge when it comes to bringing on new clients, businesses, a variety of types. We all deal with the window shoppers. We all know who they are. The people who, they look around, they talk about a lot of things, and just something happens where nothing happens.
Well, and there's also people who, are looking for a little lesson in something or looking for some knowledge that they don't want to pay for. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I recently had a meeting, a follow-up meeting that was about 4 years later after meeting with me. Come to find out, I gave him some branding advice for free. And he used it, and he was very grateful, and he was very happy. So his company name was it was overly complex. And I went out there and threw out some feelers to show him that I'm an expert at what I do and I know what I'm doing. And he took some of my advice. Well, unfortunately, he ended up moving forward. Well, fortunately at the time, he moved forward with me and my team. And 2 days later, I get a text, "Hey man, I can't do this. I talked to the wife, blah, 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 blah." All right, hey, no big deal. He had some valid reasons in respect to resources and being able to pay us, which is critical. So we decided to part ways as friends, but he did use my advice, and he ended up doing pretty good. And then we reconnected, and we're talking about actually grabbing the bull by the horns and doing something. But what we want to talk about in today's episode is the telltale signs that someone is serious or not serious. And you can kind of figure these things out. One of the main things that we look at as a company is, where is the client now and where do they want to be? And usually, based on your offering, you can figure out if what you're offering would fit in that budget, if that makes sense. The best way to identify, they say, okay, who's your target market, right? You can figure out, okay, are you selling to the higher end market? Are you selling to the mid? Are you selling to the low? When you sell to the low, you know that, okay, this group is much bigger. They have maybe a tighter wallet, and you can sell to a bigger group. But when you're trying to sell a more higher ticket item, you have to make sure that the person that you're spending that breath and that time with can afford it. And there is a formula to kind of identify that every business is different. But we even do that when we go in, we say, where are you now and where do you want to be?
Yeah.
So people kind of go into dream mode. They're like, oh,
you kind of force them to have that. You kind of force them to set a goal almost. Because most business owners, most business owners will have a goal, but some don't. And you kind of have to get that goal out of them by making them set it themselves in a way.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed, especially in in-person meetings, or even over Zoom calls or Google Meet or something, is when a lot of people are involved in the meeting, especially marketing people.
Yeah.
And you can kind of fish it out by the questions they're asking. So we've been in meetings where, I remember one specifically, we were in person and we were in this room, and a lot of people were part of the marketing department, and there was two owners or two decision makers in that meeting as well. But those marketing people were taking a lot of notes, not asking a lot of questions. They were taking a lot of notes. And that was one dead giveaway.
Note taking.
They definitely didn't work with us.
Freebie information.
Yeah. And you know what? At that time, we were giving information. We wanted to help them out. I didn't know if we knew or not that they were going to sign up, but they didn't sign up with us. But, there was a lot of note taking, and there was a lot of technical questions on how to and where to, when to, and stuff like that.
And then the light bulb goes off. Hold on.
I think I remember during that meeting, we were like, all right, well, we've given a lot of information. We kind of have to, figure out a decision here, figure out a game plan, a plan of action, and it didn't really go anywhere from there. So normally we like to try to find the plan of action, the game plan, the, you know, moving forward, whatever it is, earlier in the conversation rather than giving away so much information where they, you know, obviously there's, you know, working with us definitely would have benefited them. But, you know, we gave them enough information for them to kind of ramp things up a little bit, you know, do a little bit more here and there. And they have, and they still are. I see them making videos and stuff all the time, and active on certain platforms that we recommended, and doing certain things on a site. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
Check it out. His marketing guy was away from his computer with his keyboard and his lap, and we were talking, and this was him. He was looking me right in the eyes.
You could tell.
The audience is me. He was like this.
You could tell that.
It was wild.
You could tell. I've been in this industry for a long time, and you could tell he was very, very, very inexperienced. He was fresh. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone has the opportunity to learn. But the person that placed him in this role did it with the goal to try to replicate what a real ad agency can do. And the writing was on the wall that things weren't going in the right direction. We found some issues and some problems with what they were doing. And I think when talking about it, we're sitting next to the guy that did it. We're like,
I think that was our mistake from the beginning, though. I feel like we went, and honestly, we just a candid conversation. We got that meeting by saying, hey, you know, we can help with this, and this, which are issues that are leaving money on the table. I think that maybe that, I mean, also we could have, you know, we got the, you know, the hint in the meeting that, you know, they were obviously using the information rather than planning on working with us.
But it's to identify the pump fake, to the basically the fakers, is excessive note taking. Asking technical questions about process versus the outcome or progress. Most people that talk to guys like us or girls like us in our industry, advertisers, marketers, creative, people who drive performance, people who drive revenue, right? If they're really good at what they do, they'll have some information. But if someone's looking and asking more about the process, basically how sausage is being made, versus me putting the sausage on your plate and you cut it with your eggs and go, oh, wow, this is delicious. How is this made? Why are you asking about how the sausage is being made? Let's think about this for a minute. You're trying to replicate what we're talking about on the cheap with your inexperienced employees.
Yeah.
That's not all the time, but we've seen it. And what's really frustrating is we know that 99% of that is going to be a failure, and they just lost a whole year, 2 years, 3 years, spinning their wheels to save a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Avoiding earning 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, that someone who has the experience and the torque and the ability to take a business to that level. And you can tell that they're pump faking. They're talking to you, pretending that they're interested, and they're actually trying to replicate what you do.
Now, how, as a salesperson, do you okay, so you're in a meeting, you figured it out, okay, they're doing this. Now, how do you get around that, right? A lot of the time, we'll get those intricate questions surrounding that, you know, surrounding a process or whatever may be an offering that we provide that they want to do, obviously. You always want to kind of pivot to, well, this is what, as long as you have the numbers and the details and all that stuff, you want to, well, this is what we did for them, and look how it affected them. This is what we did for them. What's in the process doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're going to worry about your business and growing your business and doing what you know what to do, and we're going to do what we know what we know how to do. And so you kind of have to like pivot in a little bit. You also have to understand when to walk away from a conversation. I feel like that's, if I remember properly, that's almost exactly what we did during that meeting. It was like, all right, you know what? Enough information. We're gonna head out. We know what we're talking about.
But I always tell them, like, I always like gently say, there are a few things that I'm not discussing here that are proprietary. There are a few tools.
Proprietary is a good word.
There are a few tools under the hood that we do not discuss. There are a few tactics,
Processes, strategies
that we do not discuss to protect the integrity and the performance of our offering. Everybody, like we said in the other episode about reaching the top of the mountain. If you just kind of put everything out there, and then people are just gonna try to replicate, and they're gonna try to rip you off, just like how everything you see a widget, and then you see all of a suddenly it's on this weird website on social media for a quarter of the price, and then you're like, oh, they got ripped off. So like you gotta keep some stuff close to the vest. What I do is I talk about probably 80% of what we do, but then when we actually go to work, I implement some pieces that are going to ensure that this is a huge success. And that's the piece that I don't really discuss. So what I'll do is I'll gently mention, well, there are some things under the hood that we offer and we implement that really, really drive success. And sometimes that's talent, the people you hire. Sometimes they have a specific skill where they can get something done at an affordable rate, but the outcome of that tactic is something huge. And that's, when you're putting together a team that are going to do different things and they're going to collaborate, you got to keep some of that stuff protected.
So a big dead giveaway would be the potential client asking certain questions, right? Certain questions that kind of give away that they're trying to learn rather than make a decision on, working with you or not. Just like we said at the beginning of the episode, when you're talking to them, you want to kind of force them to set a goal for the next season, for next year, whatever it may be. Set a goal, set expectations, whatever it may be. But if they're asking these certain questions and there's a lot of note taking, pivot the conversation. You're a salesperson. You can do that. You can pivot the conversation into something about, what you have done or what you're capable of doing, rather than getting into the details of a process or a strategy. You want to kind of drive that conversation. Now, that is like a main dead giveaway. What are some other giveaways that someone is trying to learn or not actually going to sign up? Because I don't want to talk about pump fakes in this context isn't necessarily just they're trying to learn. Sometimes people, have a conversation with you.
They talk big.
They want to do something, but they're not going to. They're time wasters, right?
Yeah.
They'll discuss a program, they'll discuss a software, they'll discuss something, but they won't move forward. Now, that's where you have to be a little bit more aggressive with the conversation you're having with them. You kind of have to weed them out.
And don't think we don't know how to weed them out.
And it's not always going to happen, but sometimes when you run into people who want to waste time and they're the end game for them is not to move forward with you, and they already made that decision in your head, but they're still continuing the conversation. You kind of have to, hey, is this something that you're going to experiment with? Is this an effort that you're going to, implement into your business? What is the game plan here? You kind of have to be human and you have to get it out of them, because I've had conversations with people where they'll just continue on pushing it back. Oh, we don't know this and that, whatever. And it's like, well, listen, I might have to take myself out of the equation because I don't want to waste anyone's time here. I'm respecting your time, my time, and I don't want to just, sit around and think and dream, right? You kind of have to, force the conversation to go in a way where you're like, are we doing this or are we not? Obviously, don't be, an asshole, but yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a hit or miss. Use your best judgment. But what I have noticed when it comes to people pretending so they can try to do it, is they'll start asking your resource. Like they'll say, oh, what company do you use for that? Like if you talk about some type of feature or thing that you can do, oh, what company do you use for that? Oh, why are you asking me that?
Sometimes.
Why are you asking me that?
In some cases, we'll be like, yeah, so we'll have a widget. We'll have a widget that we branded and that we've launched into its own website and its own name with its own phone number. And I'll say the name
to somebody that I think was wasting my time, and a day or two later, I get a call. Hey, is this XYZ? And I saw his name on the caller ID, and I go, hey, what's up, man? He goes, I was calling about this. Could I talk to somebody about it? And I go, bro, we met. What? Huh? I said, we met, and I told you about this. And if you're interested in this, I told you how to move forward with it. Why are you calling it directly? Busted.
I've had situations like that where we've partnered up with certain companies to provide a certain software, and I gave all the information, and I trusted people, and I trusted this person, and he went directly to the source, which is fine at the end of the day. You know what?
Oh,
it is what it is. But they had a whole conversation with me, and then I find out, I get a message. Hey, have you heard of this company? Oh, interesting. I have. I know him. I know them very well. Interesting.
People.
Yeah.
People,
Time wasters.
People. You know what it is? It's everybody, people watch movies and they see like The Social Network, how Zuckerberg basically did what he did, and it inspires people to go do stupid shit. And then I don't know what it is. It's like having a fruit tree. Everyone's enjoying the fruit, and then someone tries to take all the fruit. And all the monkeys in the tree go, what the fuck are you doing? And he has the big bucket of all the fruit for himself. But then that bucket dries up, and then he goes, I want to come back to the fruit tree. You're not welcome back to the fruit tree. You just ate all the apples. I don't know. It's more like, hey, if we work as a team, everyone will eat, right? Let's work as a team. But people always it's basically greed. But
I mean, basically, it is greed.
It
That's
is
literally
greed.
what it is. Yeah.
But I, on the same token, I can appreciate an entrepreneur trying to do their own thing. But then sometimes if you go about it in a shady way where you're just trying to take somebody's shit, I don't know, it irks me a little bit. There was a guy that we generated approximately about $89 million for in growth. Yes. And all the competitors nearby wanted to talk. Interesting. Now you want to talk. So we went and sat down with some people, and they wanted to know, what do we do for them? Listen, I can give you the Cliff Notes version just purely out of respect, courtesy to a fellow business person, but I'm not giving you the secret sauce. You can try all day. This one guy I met with at his office, he was digging. He was digging and digging and digging and trying. And I said, hey, thanks, but no thanks. It was nice meeting you. And I had to bow out. But sometimes that happens where you'll get a knock on the door. Hello, you don't know who I am. I want to know what you're doing for your client. You need to maintain client privacy. Don't get into details. It's really none of their business. Now, if they want to hire you, I don't know what your exclusivity or your territory rules might be for that, but you should always check with your existing client on that situation. You may have pump fake situations where someone just pretends to be interested because they want to gain information about their competitor that you work with. So you need to stand your ground and make sure that you're not crossing those lines. That's another type of fake, I guess you could say, just kind of going through the motions, pretending. One of the ones that makes me kind of crazy is sometimes you'll have meetings scheduled and the person's almost like they're meeting with you because they're lonely. I've had that. I've seen
That's
this.
sad.
It is kind of sad. I had this one older guy and he had like a hobby business, and I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm thinking there's no way this guy can afford. It was at his house and his business was in his backyard, and whatever. Hey. But he kept me there a long time, and I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, trying to get a word in. Hold on. He was. I got a meeting. I got a meeting in 10 minutes. That was the only way I can get out of there. That's the only way I could get out. But I had a soft spot in my heart that he was a lonely guy. He was older. Just would not stop talking.
There's a lot of people like that.
Should I do the sound again?
No, you're okay.
Okay.
So
There's a lot. That's how it was.
There's a lot. You know, it's funny. I had a conversation recently with someone who just. There's people out there who just talk and talk.
Oh,
and talk.
Oh
and
boy.
Talk and talk. And some of them are great clients. They're great people. Most of them. I don't even know why I brought it down if they're a good or bad person. But no, they don't mean to. But like, I'll have a conversation. I had a conversation with someone. I was just about to walk into a store. It was on, I don't know, like 2 days ago or something. I'm on the phone. He's gonna start working with us in January, and we're just chatting. He sent us an email about something, and I called him and I said, "Hey, blank, what's up?" We're just chatting. Could take maybe 2 minutes to go over the information. I was on the phone with him for probably 20 minutes in the car, waiting to go into the store. I was just like, yeah. Oh yeah. Great guy, right? But just Yep, we do that. Yep, you can definitely, yep. Oh, totally. Okay. And it's just like...
The only time I'm cool about that is people who talk... So the people who are clients that kind of become friends.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Business Roundtable. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to get notified every single time we post a new episode. Check us out on Instagram. Clips, updates, more. There'll be more clips coming. Trust me, we're working on it. Bye. See you next time.